breathless and silent through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Here. Dodo found the more advanced models, which were badly damaged, and patched them up with the technology his country is known for. Though even the tech in his possession was not enough to properly restore them to their true potential, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade's eyes once again widen at this news. I don't understand, Naruto. You state this lost technology used in warfare is from a time long before the elemental countries were even made and before even chakra itself was introduced. How do you have 3 sensais that know what no one else does, Naruto? Said Tsunade, seeing Naruto sigh, and didn't complain that she didn't use his code name. It's complicated and I don't think you'd believe me, said Naruto, seeing Tsunade raise an eyebrow at him. Try me, said Tsunade, seeing the blonde think for a second before nodding. Okay. Just don't freak out, said Naruto, before making 3 shadow clones that upon being born had instantly turned into his 3 sensais in front of the Hokage. It's a pleasure to meet you in person, Hokage-sama, said Big Boss, with both Ocelot and Frank Jaeger nodding. And you are? Said Tsunade, seeing the apparent leader of the 3 standing before her. I go by many names. You can call me John, Jack, or one of my code names I used back when I was alive, said Big Boss, seeing the woman raise her eyebrow. Such as? Said Tsunade, waiting to hear them. Snake or Big Boss? Your choice, said Big Boss simply. Big Boss? Said Tsunade, with a raised eyebrow at the second code name. Snake for a code name, she could understand, but Big Boss? Talk about a big ego. Before your time, and no, I didn't choose it, said Big Boss with a smirk while trying to keep his eye on her face and not her chest. He still couldn't believe those things were real. And these two? Said Tsunade, pointing Ocelot and Frank. I am Shailashaka. Also called Revolver Ocelot, said Ocelot, as he did his signature salute of sorts, and with a grin on his face that told Tsunade this man could give Aviki pointers in his work. I am Frank Jaeger. Once called Null. Once called Grey Fox, said Frank simply in a calm voice, though his eyes were almost void of life. You're using his code name, said Tsunade, looking at Naruto with the boy nodding. It kind of felt right given my status in being the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, said Naruto with a smirk on his face. True, said Tsunade, since it seemed to fit Naruto. Naruto is also going to one day inherit my title of Big Boss. Just as I did from my own predecessor years ago, said John, seeing Tsunade raise an eyebrow at him in surprise. And how are you going to do that? Said Tsunade curiously. Top secret information. You don't need to know. Not yet anyway, said Big Boss simply, while Tsunade just growled. We'll see about that. Thought Tsunade, since she suspected that Naruto would have to do something dangerous to earn the title. In any case, we saw what Naruto did when fighting those Metal Gears, and were very fortunate to find the base of operations Dodo used to repair them. We also found several kinds of blueprints he had in the works to make more of them, but Naruto destroyed the base along with every scrap of paper holding detailed information about those weapons. Some things are best left buried or forgotten, said Big Boss, with Tsunade nodding, since there were some things best left buried in the past to never resurface. There is also the matter of how Dodo knew we were coming. He knew the ship, landing area, and the very day we were expected to arrive in Snow Country, said Naruto, as he knew the source of such information was back here in the Leaf, and someone in Konoha had sold him out. Someone from the Leaf informed him of your arrival. The question now is, who? Said Tsunade, knowing there were a handful of people with access to the information regarding this mission. I know who. But to flush him out, you need to bait him, and I have the perfect trap for you, said Ocelot, grinning with a plan forming in his mind. How do you know who it is? said Tsunade, seeing Ocelot just smirk with his arms now crossed in front of him. Just trust me on this. Summon the councils and clan heads for a meeting. Tell them it's about Grey Fox and him being badly injured, said Ocelot, seeing Tsunade narrowing her eyes at him. But he's not, said Tsunade before the smirk on Ocelot grew. But your traitor doesn't know that. Lay it on real thick. Make it sound like our student here is in no real condition to do missions for a while due to suffering from both physical and emotional trauma, said Ocelot, seeing Tsunade lean back in her chair thinking about this plan. The backstabber will visit Naruto and basically confess to the boy how he orchestrated everything, said Big Boss, seeing Tsunade rub her chin, and agreed to it. Okay, but don't get your hopes up. If the traitor is, who I think you think it is, then he'll no doubt suspect something is up, said Tsunade, seeing them nod. It's a risk that comes from doing covert missions. Something we know how to do, said Big Boss, knowing this had to be done or else more missions Naruto took in the future would become compromised. They had to nip this in the bud now. Hokage Tower meeting room sometime later. What is the reason behind this meeting, Hokage-sama? Said Hiashi, having important business with his own clan that couldn't wait for long. I've summoned you here to this meeting regarding our mercenary hire we all know as Grey Fox, who just came back from his mission with Jinan Teams 8 and 9 with their senseis in escorting the client to Snow Country, said Tsunade while making her voice sound grim to get everyone to focus on what she had to say. Did something go wrong? My son reported to me the mission was a success? Said Shibi with a frown on his face. It was a success, but Grey Fox has just been recently admitted to the hospital due to physical and mental trauma I learned he suffered while disposing the last of enemy that they faced in Snow Country, said Tsunade, seeing everyone look at her with surprise. Why didn't Kiba tell me this? I'll have his ass for not telling me, said Tsume, growled, knowing Naruto had been good for her son to learn humility during the Chunin exam prelims. And now Kiba was keeping this info from her. They didn't know Tsume-san. Grey Fox was keeping it under control until he got back so it wouldn't spook the others. Right now, he's in the hospital resting, and is not cleared for duty until I say so, said Tsunade, seeing Danzo's eye narrow slightly. And what is it that caused this to happen, Hokage-sama? Said Danzo, not really buying the story, but went to humor the woman nonetheless, and test the waters of information. As some of you know, Naruto along with the others encountered an old lost weapon of war. Warlord of Snow Country named Kazan Dodo was intent on rebuilding to one day wage war on the elemental countries. Grey Fox found the factories Dodo had set up to one day make more like the ones he found and other various models before he blew them up. However, the fact such weapons were being made has affected Grey Fox immensely, and I fear his mental state is on a knife's edge bordering on the psychotic. He's the only one with the knowledge regarding these war machines and feels if such creations were ever to fall into the wrong hands it would be disastrous. I intend for Inoiki here to enter Grey Fox's mind to remove all memories regarding those horrible war machines, said Tsunade, seeing several people on the councils protest this decision. Why do that? With such weaponry in our hands, we could protect Konoha from Iwa and Kumo should they wish to invade, said a member of the civilian council. Why use such weaponry for protection? It's clear these weapons are made to invade other countries. I say Inoiki extracts the information from the demon brat and we use it to expand our territory, said Danzo, with the shinobi council agreeing with him. Enough. These things will cause an escalation of arms that no one is ready to handle. If we made these things, chances are Kumo or Iwa may find a way to do so too. Pretty soon every hidden village will build one and cause untold damage to lands of the elemental countries. I won't do that and Grey Fox won't either, since it's clear his belief about this technology being too dangerous to use being correct. This meeting is over, said Tsunade, leaving the room while seeing Danzo's eye narrow slightly in anger and frustration. I must get that information out of the brat. Thought Danzo, knowing he would have to move quickly or else the information would be lost forever. Inwardly, Tsunade smiled, knowing she had the bait on the hook, and all she needed now was for the fish to go for it. At Konoha's hospital, Naruto was lying on his back, looking sound asleep with a white bed sheet covered most of his form, and waited patiently for the plan to come to fruition. However, the young mercenary's waiting paid off, as sure enough the traitor to Konoha appeared through his door, the sound of his cane clacking on the floor with every other step he took, and Naruto could almost feel the joy this man was hiding. How the mighty have fallen. The mighty Kyuubi now at my mercy, said Danzo, seeing Naruto open his eye lazily before staring back at him. How many times do I have to tell people like you that I'm not the Kyuubi? We're not the same thing and you know it, said Naruto calmly, though still sounded sleepy to Danzo. You can spin it however you wish, demon. I know the truth. Nothing you can say to the contrary will ever change my mind. I have wanted your power under my command since you were first sealed inside the boy's body, and even before that with that red-haired bitch from Whirlpool the Yondaime married years ago. Now I find out that you discovered an old, yet powerful technological weapon on your mission that could further tip the balance of power in the village's favor, and if acquired could make us more powerful. However, instead of helping make this weapon a part of the leaf to make the village stronger, you want it to be destroyed, and I can't allow that to happen, said Danzo with his face now a scowl while looking at Naruto. You make it sound like I'll just give you the blueprints from what I remembered seeing in the factory areas Dodo had in Snow Country. Factories and blueprints that I destroyed, by the way, said Naruto calmly while seeing Danzo now smirk at him. There are ways around that particular problem. Your mind possesses the knowledge I need to make the leaf stronger, and I have a Yamanaka under my command to help get what I want, said Danzo seeing Naruto raise an eyebrow at him. How do you even know about Snow Country? I have a feeling you know more than whatever meeting you just came from with the Hokage, said Naruto with a narrowed eye at Danzo's own. How perceptive of you. I am allowed access to mission reports thanks to my elite rank within Konoha's government and information very few know about, said Danzo seeing Naruto's eye narrow for a second and then widen in slight realization. It was you. You tipped the Snow Shinobi off about Princess Yuki. You told them where, when, and what to expect upon our arrival, said Naruto with his eye now narrowing in anger at the man in front of him. Indeed. I wanted you to fail. I wanted the Hokage's trust in you to be shaken. With the teams with you dead, your mission a failure, and being the only survivor, it was going to be so easy for me to have your credibility shattered. Your remaining friends would even abandon or keep an eye on you. They would question whether or not you had a hand in their death and the failure of the mission. The seeds of doubt would take root and your contract with the Hokage would be cancelled. With your support in the village ruined, I could easily have my root forces swoop in, and take you back to my underground bases where you'd be properly conditioned to be my personal weapon. Of course that plan has not changed since your current weakened condition makes this all the more easier for me to bend you to my will, said Danzo with a sense of arrogance in his voice. I doubt it. I won't be fooled twice by some Sandaime Hokage carbon copy. I won't serve someone like you, said Naruto seeing Danzo look a bit angry at his choice of words before removing the bandage over his eye to reveal, a Sharingan? That's where you're wrong. With this eye, courtesy of the unwilling Uchiha clan, you will bow to my will, and help me usurp that Senju bitch of a Hokage so I can take my rightful place on the seat of power, said Danzo while using the Sharingan eye on the boy to plant the strong hypnotic suggestion for the Kyuubi Jinchuriki to serve him loyally without question. Is that what I am, Danzo team? A Senju bitch. Perhaps you'd like to add more words to the list of things you think I am before I kick your ass? Said Tsunade appearing with Shizune behind Danzo, who turned his head to basically show the woman his Sharingan eye. You're too late, Hokage-sama. Now the demon works for me. Get up, Kyuubi, and kill the Senju, said Danzo before turning to see Naruto rise up from the bed and stand ready to fight. You're under arrest, Danzo. Even now your root forces are being subdued and will be questioned by Ibiki once your seal under their tongues are removed, said Tsunade seeing Danzo scowl at her and turn to once again command Naruto to attack. Only for Naruto to thrust his HF sword right through his skull underneath the jawline. H-Ho-W? Said Danzo with what little of his brain still working. Isn't it obvious, Danzo team? I'm immune to your pathetic Sharingan eye thanks to my own dojutsu. You should never tip your hand early in a card game. You're only going to lose because of it, said Naruto pulling his weapon out of Danzo before slicing the man's head clean off his body. Well, there goes the point of a trial, said Tsunade seeing the man was now dead. He has allies. No one in his position, no matter how good Danzo may think he is, could last as long unless he had allies to back him up, and provide support when required. I'd do some digging into the Shinobi Council since they seem to favor him quite a bit from what I understand of the politics you're now going through, said Naruto seeing Tsunade nod her head in agreement. Not to mention some of the members of clans like the Yamanaka clan for one if what I overheard was any indication, said Tsunade with Naruto nodding in agreement back. Good. Now if we're done, I have to get ready for a date with Anko, and I don't think the woman can keep her sanity in the event it's stalled one more time, said Naruto seeing the female Hokage smirk while Shizune looked worried given Anko's reputation. Just make sure you don't knock her up on your first date, Gaki. The last thing I need right now is you making me godmother to another Uzumaki just like you, said Tsunade with Naruto just smirking back. And give you more gray hairs sooner than later? Not a chance. I don't think that jutsu you use to hide your age could handle another Uzumaki like me. A namikaze on the other hand? Said Naruto leaping out the window while ignoring Tsunade's words for him to come back and take his lumps for that remark. You did ask for that one, Tsunade-sama, said Shizune, knowing the female Hokage had walked right into it after trying to embarrass the boy. Shut it, said Tsunade, glaring at her student and aide. Konoha Street. Sometime later. At the moment, Naruto was currently looking for Anko, but found the special Jounin was unreachable at the moment because no one knew where she was, and he found it a bit odd since normally the woman wasn't hard to even find. He was about to check Anko's place of residence when his internal danger sense went off and ducked into an alley before he was tackled by someone pinning him to a wall with a kunai to his throat. I was waiting for you, Foxy-kun. I hate waiting, said Anko, whispering into Naruto's neck. I was looking, but I couldn't find you, Anko-chan, and was just going to check your place of residence so we could go on our date, said Naruto, feeling Anko pressing more of herself against him. I'm sure. You owe me dango for being late. Lots of dango, said Anko once more into his ear. Anko-chan, what time did we agree to meet each other? Said Naruto, narrowing his eye at her with the woman humming slightly. We didn't, Foxy-kun. We just when you got away from your last mission, said Anko while her mind daydreamed about all the dango she was going to feast on. If there was no time set, then how can I be late, and punished for it? Said Naruto, with the woman pausing in her thoughts before she realized he was right. And her dream sooner shattered after that. Damn. I've forgotten just how smart you've become since I saw you before the second part of the Chunin exam started, said Anko, seeing Naruto glare slightly. Please. You've seen me after that farce of a life I've lived. Now do you want this date or not? Said Naruto with a raised eyebrow. Oh. A man of action. I like that. Come on. I may not get all the dango I want from you for being late, but I'm still going to get some, and you're paying, said Anko, leading him to her favorite place to eat. There's a limit, said Naruto, trying to keep up with her, dragging him to the sanctuary of her favorite food. So with several hours passing, a happily stomach-satisfied Anko left with Naruto, who was glad he had paid for the bill owed using the money borrowed from Jiraiya, and covered everything. Naruto inwardly thought the Sannin was an hypocritical idiot, but was strong enough to hold back Konoha's enemies, and for now was a necessary pain in the ass to have around the leaf. Besides, pilfering the Toad Sannin's money was fun. Wow. I'm so stuffed, said Anko, rubbing her slightly bulging stomach, knowing it was aching from being filled with dango. I'm sure. So what else do you want to do? Said Naruto, seeing some surprise on Anko's face. You still want to continue the date? Even after basically being a pig, being rude, and all-around jerk during our time talking? Said Anko with a raised eyebrow. That was another thing that happened when Anko was with Naruto, as she had been her usual rude, in-your-face, and scary self the whole time. In a nutshell, Anko had been a real bitch, and had tried to at certain points make Naruto end the date early. It was how she had made men flee in the past soon after all the dates first started, and yet this kid a few years her junior wanted to keep going. It was unheard of. Unthinkable. We both know that was not your true self. I want to date the real Mitarashi Anko. The one behind the mask used to fool people into believing you're something I know is just a form of deception, said Naruto, seeing Anko stiffen slightly. So, you know? Said Anko simply while seeing Naruto smirk at her. You can't trick a trickster, Anko-chan. I can see through your act of happiness you put up because I had to do the same for everyone around me. You smile when I should cry. You smile when I should show anger. And you smile when you want to scream out in defiance against the very assholes that make your whole life miserable. I've been there and done that, said Naruto simply. Start over? Said Anko hopefully. Start over. Follow me, Anko-chan. We can go for a walk in the park and talk like normal people, said Naruto, taking her hand and giving the back of it a gentle kiss that made Anko blush. Where did he learn that, I wonder? Said Ocelot inside Naruto's head while Big Boss just smirked. I may have given him a few pointers, said Big Boss, since he and Eva had their own special connection that he wanted Naruto to have with the women in his life. Not all of them, said Kyubi, knowing something about romance and making the female gender swoon when needed. Anko's apartment. Sometime later, Anko closed the door to her apartment, her heart spinning, feeling dizzy, and felt like she was walking on air. Why? Because for the first time in her life, Mitarashi Anko was truly happy, and didn't have to hide behind the "I'm a sadistic bitch" mask she created to scare away all the assholes wanting to tear apart her ass. In more ways than one. Some guys tried to have a date with Anko just to get between her legs and then brag about it. Not that they ever did. She saw through their intentions right away, hence why Anko acted the way she did with Naruto from the start on their date, to turn the boy off, and say it's not worth it to himself. But Naruto endured. He saw through her mask. Saw the real Anko. Wanted to know the real Anko. They had walked to the park, talked, laughed, and had a really good time. The hobbies they both had, their likes, dislikes, and their shared hatred for the morons trying to make their lives miserable. They hit it off nicely. "I think I'm in love," said Anko before hitting the bed with a smile on her face. With Naruto, Naruto smiled, as he found someone like him, who he could relate to, and really bond with outside of working for the Leaf while being a mercenary. Anko had it all in his mind. Beauty, brains, and the invisible brass balls between her legs needed to kick ass when it was required. "Enjoying your time with that slut?" said Sasuke, appearing to Naruto's side with his arm in a sling and glaring at the mercenary. "First, I do enjoy my time with Anko-chan. Second, she's not a slut. Third, call her that again, and I'll cut off both your arms before burning them so you'll be crippled for life," said Naruto, glaring at Sasuke with his narrowed blue eye. "Whatever, loser. We both know she spreads her legs for every guy in Konoha that wants a lay. That's what women are. Stress relief for the real shinobi of Konoha. Women in the Leaf and the world are nothing more than slaves meant to breed us into existence. Their purpose is to cook, clean, and make male shinobi babies while the females follow in their parents' footsteps," said Sasuke, smirking at Naruto. "So what does that make your mother? A slut? A whore?" said Naruto, seeing Sasuke's smirk turn into a furious scowl. "You leave my mother out of this," said Sasuke, seeing Naruto smirk now. "Why? You said it yourself. Women spread their legs for men. Your mother clearly did for the other members of your clan. Makes you wonder just who your father was, doesn't it? Maybe that's why your so-called father didn't pay any real attention to you. Maybe he thought you weren't really his son because of your slut for a mother," said Naruto, while not really believing it for a second, since he knew the woman had been good to him in the past, but knew it would help anger Sasuke, and that's what he wanted. "My mother is different. She was an Uchiha," said Sasuke, seeing Naruto frown at him. "You can't exclude your mother from your line of thinking when it comes to women just because she was an Uchiha, asshole. Not that it matters. Women aren't the things you make them out to be in the first place, and I never believed that. If this is how you view women, then it's clear you don't deserve to be with one, and have kids that will no doubt act like you too," said Naruto, seeing Sasuke becoming infuriated by his words. "I'll fuck whoever I want regardless if they consent to it or not. I'll even fuck that snake slut in there to rebuild my clan, and I'll get away with it because I'm an Uchiha," said Sasuke, as he was stuck hard in the stomach by Naruto's fist, and then his with a spinning elbow to the back of the Uchiha's skull. "Let's get one thing straight, you sick fuck. The day Anko sleeps with you willingly, is the day hell freezes over, and should you even have the nerve in raping the woman, I will cut your nuts off before force feeding them down your fucking throat," said Naruto before putting his foot down on Sasuke's chest. "You can't protect her from me. The CRA allows me to choose whoever I want to revive my clan. She'll be mine by the end of the week," said Sasuke with a grin on his face, but it was removed when Naruto drew his HF sword, and put it to the Uchiha's face. "Then maybe I should end you or remove your nuts right now. Also, if you read the fine print on the CRA, you would know it has to be with a woman, who willingly wants to be with you, and have your kids. You so much as rape a woman under the CRA and you're up shit creek without a paddle, little man. You'll be milked by a machine for your sperm, then they'll cut off your nuts, and then just to teach someone like you a lesson, you'll be thrown into a sector of the prison filled with sexually depraved men that would love to take out their depravity on fresh meat that comes their way for the rest of your natural life," said Naruto, glaring hatefully at the boy. "The people won't let the Hokage do that. She has to bend to the will of the people, and the people love me no matter what I do," said Sasuke, seeing Naruto raise an eyebrow at him. "Not for long. Besides, you aren't the only Uchiha left, and Itachi can always be granted a full pardon in exchange for his help in rebuilding what he almost destroyed," said Naruto, seeing Sasuke glaring at him. "The Hokage would never do that," said Sasuke before feeling more pressure on his chest from Naruto's foot. "Are you sure? For all your supposed greatness, Sasuke, the only thing great about you is your bloodline, and even then I question your ability for how fertile you are down there. Without your bloodline, much less your clan status, you'd be nothing, and everyone in the village would just act like you were just an ordinary shinobi," said Naruto before walking away. "But I do have a bloodline. I do have clan status, and the people love me for it," said Sasuke, getting off the ground. "Not everyone in the village loves you, Sasuke. Not everyone," said Naruto before fading into the shadows. Namikaze Estates. Hours later, when Naruto came home, he was surprised to see the red-haired girl Tuya there, sitting on the couch, and had a blush on her face that could match the hair on her head. Raising an eyebrow at the girl, she stood up, and quietly handed a scroll to the Namikaze heir. Hey Gaki, the redhead here Tuya, is yours from now on, as she invoked an old law used by interrogated prisoners of a village to avoid being sent to prison by being a person's personal slave, and asked for you. While I oppose this decision on a personal level, this girl was unyielding about it, and in a way I know you'll treat her right regardless of her new status. Not that I would blame the girl given her connection to Orochimaru and how the prison would react to having one of his bodyguards there. I highly doubt she'd make it through the week there before something happened. You are in a way her only chance at having a moderately normal life under your protection. Please treat her right Naruto. Just as you want to be treated. Tsunade well, this is interesting, said Naruto seeing Tuya with his one eye and saw what she was wearing was a single gray gown worn by people stripped of their clothing before being searched for weapons prior to interrogation. Something Anko had told him during their date when the topic came up. I'm yours to command, Gray Fox-sama, said Tuya obediently, as she was under the impression that his real name was a sensitive topic, and decided to use his codename for now until granted permission. Naruto will do. I'm surprised you're being so calm and polite Tuya-san, said Naruto seeing the girl blush slightly while he looked her over. It was the curse seal. That toad Sanin put a seal on it so I wouldn't use or rely on it. Still, it feels nice not swearing so much, and I could get used to it, Naruto-sama, said Tuya saying his name at the last moment after nearly forgetting to address him by it. Me too. A beautiful girl shouldn't swear anyway, said Naruto with the girl blushing further. Naruto, there is the matter of clothing for me to wear. It was not addressed by the leaf in the I&T department, said Tuya knowing that her clothing had been basically destroyed and was probably lucky to be given this much in terms of attire. Yes. Yes there is. Are you wearing anything underneath that? Said Naruto with a raised eyebrow while Tuya blushed even more. Why do you ask Naruto-sama? Said Tuya nervously since she knew there were possible reasons for him asking. Well, when you sleep in your own bed, I wasn't sure if you were going to sleep in that, or without it so, said Naruto trying to not to make himself out to be perverted while the Kyuubi seemed to enjoy it. Damn demonic fox. And my own bed? You're not going to have me join you in, well yours, Naruto-sama? Sad Tuya, as she knew that some slaves had been tasked with warming their master's bed, and other things that were perverted in nature. I'm not a pervert Tuya-chan, said Naruto with a smirk. I know Naruto-sama, I didn't imply you were. Please don't punish me, said Tuya, as she feared upsetting her new master, and suffer painful humiliation at his hands. Punish you? Why would I do that? Said Naruto with a raised eyebrow. It's just, when you said you weren't a pervert, I felt like I had just somehow insulted you master, and had opened myself up to be punished for it, said Tuya with a hint of hope in her voice that she wouldn't be punished. I've been called if not accused of being worse and by people who meant it. I'll show you the other bedrooms. You choose which one you want Tuya-chan, said Naruto giving her a smile much to the redhead's confusion. You're giving me a choice master? But, I'm a slave. Your slave, said Tuya frowning since she had always been told during her training. True, but it doesn't mean I have to deprive your life of everything, and be some pervert that would humiliate you just for the fun of it. It's not my style, said Naruto showing her the extra bedrooms on the second floor of the Namikaze estates. What will I do while here Naruto-sama? As your new slave I need to have some kind of purpose, said Tuya seeing Naruto think for a second in deep thought over the matter. Well, there will be times when I have to leave for a mission outside of the village and I won't be able to keep this place clean. That being said, I think your job while living here will be the maid of the house, and making sure it's clean. When there are no chores to do Tuya-chan, you will also be training to defend this house, and I will spar with you on occasion to ensure you don't slack off. Do you understand? Said Naruto seeing Tuya nod in understanding. I understand Naruto-sama. Thank you, said Tuya bowing slightly. Good to hear. Tomorrow, we'll shop for some clothing, and then some other necessities you may need. Sleep well Tuya-chan, said Naruto nodding and headed for his own bedroom for some rest. Sleep well, Naruto-sama, said Tuya, as she chose her room, and went to bed after removing the grayish prison gown so she was just in her undergarments. Hokage Tower the next day. What is the meaning of this Tsunade? Said Koharu, as she was restrained by a pair of Onbu in the room, and her former teammate Homer a less than a foot away in a similar state. I'm going to get straight to the point. Danzo is dead. His root shinobi are being rounded up as we speak. Several of them have already confessed that they saw you two speak to Danzo on certain secret matters on more than one occasion. Matters like the Uchiha clan and the rebellion they were going to cause had it not been for Uchiha Itachi killing them all on orders from on high. Even worse, you decide to cover it up, and call it a horrible massacre to give the people of the village to spoil Uchiha Sasuke. Something that made the little prick arrogant and quite full of himself since it first happened. Even if the brat learned the truth, it would only damage his psyche further, and possibly turn him against Konoha, said Tsunade, seeing the two old farts glaring at her. It was necessary to keep the Uchiha happy. Sharingan eyes have the power to restrain demonic chakra and thus would be crucial in keeping the demon brat in check, said an angry Homura trying to get free. You spoiled the child of traitors, who would betray you all for more power if it meant leaving the village, and selling this place out to our enemies. Bekas, said Tsunade before she backhanded them both. Hard. Uchiha Sasuke is the future of the leaf. He is going to be your successor, said Homura, only to be backhanded again by Tsunade. Over my dead body. Uchiha Sasuke is never going to be Hokage of this village. As for you two Bekas, Inoiki is going to dive into both of your heads, and dig up every dirty little secret you've ever done before facing execution. Take them away, said Tsunade, seeing the two old morons go pale, knowing they had their hands in quite a few dirty deeds that would be more than enough to have them killed. Well, that went well, said Jiraiya, sitting on the open window, and saw Tsunade glare at him for obvious reasons. Don't start with me, Jiraiya. I took apart Danzo's body and found out Orochimaru helped experiment on his body using my grandfather's blood mixed with Sharingan eyes, all surgically attached. Not only that, but I know for a fact, you never had Naruto learn how to summon toads, and I suspect you're stalling, said Tsunade, seeing Jiraiya grimace while cursing the Gaki for no doubt telling her somehow. Maybe it was because they weren't mentioned in the last mission, the boy went on. The boy hates my guts, Tsunade Heim. If I so much as turn my face slightly or speak in a tone off key, the brat would run me through with his damn sword, said Jiraiya before he was grabbed by the throat and pinned to the wall. I don't care if he would run his sword up your ass. You will give him the summoning scroll for the toads, or I'll beat you within an inch of your life again before giving it to him myself, said Tsunade, glaring at the man while tightening her grip on his throat. Well, when you put it like that, how could I refuse? Said Jiraiya with a weak smile on his face. Good. Delay this one more day and you will wish it was just Gamabunta kicking your ass instead of both of us, said Tsunade before throwing him out of the window into the village. With Naruto and Tuya, you don't have to buy me so much, Naruto-sama. This is too much, said Tuya, as she saw over half a dozen clones carrying multiple bags, and the redhead herself was now currently wearing more decent clothing than the prison rag she had worn the previous day. Nonsense. To provide you with too little is cruel, and I am not cruel, master, said Naruto, smiling at Tuya, who blushed at his kindness since she had known very little of it, and her new master was basically unleashing more than she ever had in her entire life. Naruto Baka, said Sakura, making herself known to Naruto from behind them and the Namikaze side before motioning the clones to head home with Tuya's bags. Go with them, Tuya-chan, said Naruto, seeing Tuya look uncertain at first because she didn't want to leave her master, but he had given an order, and had to obey him. Yes, Naruto-sama, said Tuya before pecking him right on the cheek and following the clones with some of them snickering while Naruto himself gave them a glare to shut them up. What is it, Sakura? Said Naruto, turning to face the pink-haired girl. Explain to me right now what the Hokage's doing? She's liquidating the councils. She's basically fired my dad. We're losing everything due to the Hokage's order to investigate our financials and frozen our accounts until further notice, said Sakura, as she had woke up this morning with her parents, and met an Anbu captain handing them official orders from the Hokage about what was about to happen. Simple. The councils have been found guilty of charges of treason against the Hokage, as they have been usurping her rule, and breaking countless village laws while using their positions of power to cover it up. Your family included. They have drained funds from the treasury for their special projects that will not benefit anyone, except in their wallets, and have put the village in great danger. While I care little for the majority of the village itself given my past with it, I do care for the minority that are not idiots, and are worth saving, said Naruto, as he had plans for that minority, and would see they had a place to call their own where they could be accepted. My parents are innocent. You go to the Hokage right now and make her fix this or I will, said Sakura, but was shut up by Naruto's killer intent, and he walked up to her until his face was inches from the girl's own. You'll do what? Hit me? Insult me further? You're pathetic. Weak. You're as strong as a newborn kitten. You think your life is bad now? It's paradise to my childhood. Now shut your damn mouth before I do it by breaking your jaw in different places so Tsunade has to wire it shut, said Naruto before kneeing the girl in the gut and walked off. He had more pressing matters to attend to. Like setting his plan for outer heaven in motion. Time to drop off some old-fashioned mail, said Big Boss, seeing Naruto pull out different letters addressed to different individuals scattered throughout the elemental countries. The one real thing in the world that hasn't changed since our deaths, said Ocelot with a smirk on his face while remembering how technology had advanced so much in terms of communicating with people. Better that it's the mail system that survives than that of guns or the atomic bomb, said Frank Yeager, with Big Boss and Ocelot agreeing to that statement. Well, Ocelot agreed about the bomb part. Not the guns part. Taki Village several days later, Fu hated her life. Why? Because the people in Taki made it that way. They hated her for being the seven-tailed Jinchuriki. Something she didn't ask for. Didn't want to be, yet Fu was stuck with it, and had to keep her mind sharp. Early on in life, Fu learned the hard way that people will seem nice, but had the power to trick and deceive you if the signs of it were not known. Which was why Fu immediately became suspicious of the letter the Chunin ranked Taki shinobi had handed to her and carefully checked for any kind of explosive or toxic air releasing seal before opening it. Dear Fu of Taki, my name is Gray Fox. I am a mercenary currently employed by the Leaf. I know you are hated in your village. I know the people there would sooner celebrate the day of your death than mourn it. I am offering you a way out by joining me along with those like you to my sanctuary for abused people like us. Yes, I said us. I am like you, Fu. I am the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, and like you I too was hated by my village. The only reason I serve them now is a means to an end for fulfilling a vision where people abused for what we are can be free from it. I look forward to having you join my outer heaven when it becomes reality. Sincerely, Gray Fox of the Leaf. Should I trust him? Is this a trick? Thought Fu, as she would have to do some discreet research on Gray Fox to see if some of the information in the letter was true. Iwa at the moment, Iwa's own Jinchuriki Han and Roshi were in their apartment complex that they shared, eating a meal they had acquired through the means of hunting, since none of the shops in Iwa's market would sell them much. Only on the orders of the Tsuchikage himself could the two get anything, and even then what they took was watched by several Onbu. We should leave Iwa soon, Han. This place won't miss us, and we need to go someplace where we can master our demonic powers, said Roshi while eating his meal, while Han just nodded. Unfortunately, there is no safe place for people like us, Roshi. Even if we did leave, Iwa would never let us join another village, and hunt us down to make sure we never did, said Han, knowing that Tsuchikage had made sure they were always on a tight leash and that to simply breathe the air around them for free was mercy enough. There was a knock at the door, which Han had decided to answer since his tall presence always prevented the shinobi on the other side from making snide remarks, and just do their job. Case in point, when the Chunin on the other side, newly minted Chunin from the look of fear in the man's eyes, had just handed Han the letter, and quickly left without a word. What is it? Said Roshi, seeing Han frown at the letter in his hand. It's a letter. It's addressed to the two of us, said Han before opening it carefully when he didn't sense any kind of seal on the envelope that would cause it to explode. Dear Han and Roshi of Iwa, my name is Gray Fox. For reason of security, I cannot go into much about myself, as Iwa is not so kind when it pertains to your mail, and had to take measures to ensure this letter reached you. Before this reached you, I put a genjutsu on it to make it seem like your usual hate mail from the villagers so that Tsuchikage would let it reach you, and be read by either one of my fellow Jinchuriki. That's right. I am one of you. My fellow kin, who know of the burden I share, and understand what it means to be hated by the fools of our village. It's unfair. It's unjust. It needs to stop. We are the pointy tip of the sword of our village, and yet they treat us like we're lower than the crap that comes out of a horse. Recently, I've been able to place myself into a position where I can change the status quo, not just for myself, but for all of my fellow Jinchuriki, and offer them a place of refuge from the abuse of the world. To grow, flourish, and live the life we should have from the start. I offer you both a chance to leave Iwa and join me in the creation of the dream that is outer heaven. I look forward to hearing from you, my brothers. Sincerely, Gray Fox of the Leaf. P.S. I don't know if you have any hatred for the Leaf after what happened in the last war, but no, I don't when it comes to Iwa, and wish us to start with a clean slate on all sides. What do you think? Is this for real? Said Roshi, reading the letter himself and looking at Han reading the newest bingo book acquired just yesterday. Maybe. Read this page, said Han, handing the book to Roshi, and the bearded man saw it before his eyes widened. Name, Gray Fox. aka Uzumaki Naruto. aka Namikaze Naruto. Status, mercenary. Currently employed to the Leaf under contract. Parents, father is Namikaze Minato. aka Yellow Flash of Konoha and Yondaime Hokage of the Leaf. Mother is Uzumaki Kushina of Whirlpool. Rank, unknown. Never specified. Suspected to be at least A ranked. Known senseis, Hatake Kakashi. Known kills, Sound 4. Yakashi Kabuto. Orochimaru of the Sannin. Kazahana Dodo of Snow Country. Side notes, the boy is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki yet doesn't use its power in battle. Either he doesn't know how to use its demonic chakra or doesn't rely on it for fighting. He is rumored to possess an optical bloodline behind one of his eyes. Unknown if it's one or both due to the eye patch covering the eye is never consistent. Also wears some kind of metallic suit never before seen and suspected to be some kind of bloodline after rumors speak of it retracting into his skin. Approach with extreme caution. Next to the description of Gray Fox was a picture of the boy with his sword out, wearing a trench coat, and in his metallic sneak suit with the eye patch on the left eye. He's the son of the Yondaime, said Roshi in surprise. Yes. And yet he's a Jinchuriki like us. Something must have happened to make the boy be a mercenary rather than a full-fledged shinobi of the leaf, said Han seeing Roshi nod in agreement. Abused? Like us? Said Roshi with Han nodding. It makes sense. The way he describes himself in the letter. The way he talks about us in the letter. It all fits. The boy's list of kills may not be many, but each one of them were considered powerful, and skilled in their own right, said Han while looking at Iwa from the window and deep in thought. You're considering his offer, aren't you? Said Roshi seeing Han look back at him. And you're not? Said Han seeing Roshi sigh and run a hand through his red hair. I would be lying if I said I like it here. I hate it here. Still, the offer to live in a place where hatred for what we are does not exist, I would think it was gift given from Kami himself, said Roshi before looking at the letter again. With a name like Outer Heaven, it just might be, said Han while seriously considering the offer now with Roshi doing the same. Kumo at the moment, Killer Bee is in the house. Male call for the cat that's shy like a mouse, said Killer Bee while handing a letter to the blonde female Jinchuriki holding the two-tailed Nibi. Baka. I'm not shy and I'm not a mouse, said Yugito grabbing the letter and opened it after kicking Killer Bee out of her home. Dear Ni Yugito of Kumo, my name is Gray Fox. I am a mercenary currently employed by the Leaf. I know you are not hated in your village, but at the same time are not loved by them either, and have had to face your fair share of abuse. I know some of the people there would sooner celebrate the day of your death than mourn it. The same can be said for myself. However, I intend to change that and offering you a way out by joining me along with those like you to my sanctuary. A place for abused people like us. Yes, I said us. I am like you Ni Yugito. I am the nine-tailed Jinchuriki and like you I too was hated by my village. The only reason I serve them now is a means to an end for fulfilling a vision where people abused for what we are can be free from it. I know the Raikage's younger brother is a Jinchuriki too, but I know blood is thicker than water, and he may not wish to join us. That's his choice. It will always be a choice for him just like it is for you. I await your response and hope to meet you one day in the forging of Outer Heaven. Sincerely, Gray Fox of the Leaf. What do you think, Nibi? Is it genuine? Thought Yugito while looking at the letter again. Hard to say. It is something to look into, said Nibi while looking at the letter through Yugito's eyes. I'll look into this guy and see if he checks out, thought Yugito knowing there were ways to gather information regarding the person behind this offer. Naruto inwardly swore at his failure to reach two Jinchuriki, and bring them into the fold of his dream. The Mizukage of Mist, who was also a Jinchuriki by the name of Yagura had been slain earlier this month, and was replaced by a woman with red hair named Terumi Mei. She was currently busy fixing what was broken within the Mist village and to say it was just a mess was an understatement. The other Jinchuriki of Mist had gone rogue before that and was in hiding to the point where Naruto doubted even Jiraiya's spy network could find the man. There was even the question of whether the man was even alive or captured by the Akatsuki before having his demon extracted. Two of my kin are lost for the moment. One dead and the other missing. Possibly dead or soon will be. Kyuubi, what happens to the tailed beasts when a Jinchuriki dies? Thought Naruto to the Kyuubi with the demon looking at him in his mind. My fellow tailed beasts do not manifest themselves for a few years after the life of their vessel is extinguished. In 3 years' time, the three tails will return, and rule to seize once more, said Kyuubi seeing Naruto nod in thought. Is the three tails hostile in general? Or will he speak to those that show civility? Thought Naruto seeing the fox raise an eyebrow at him. He has a short temper, but the three tails will speak to those that only wish to talk, and not fight him just for power. Why? Said Kyuubi seeing the boy smile at him. Outer Heaven will be a large island while still being close to the mainland. However, it could use a guardian to protect it from the sea itself, and I think the three-tailed demon would fit that job description nicely, thought Naruto seeing Kyuubi was shocked by this news. The three tails likes being free. All of us like being free, but him most of all due to the water being its home, and asked to serve another, said Kyuubi seeing Naruto nod. I won't ask the Three Tails to do something it doesn't want to. I'll simply offer him the job, and if he says no, then that will be that, thought Naruto seeing Kyuubi was shocked. That's it? You won't fight him over it? If the Three Tails says no, you'll simply leave him alone, and never bring it up again? Said Kyuubi, wondering if his vessel had gone mad. There's no point in forcing the idea on someone who doesn't want the job, Kyuubi, and if I did I'd just become a hypocrite for my troubles. It's about choice. It's always been about choice, thought Naruto seeing Kyuubi having some form of respect for its vessel's belief in the matter. The fox also believed the Three Tails would feel the same way and possibly join the boy just for that. He just might pulls this off after all, thought Kyuubi, knowing this kid was doing the impossible at the moment. And stop there. Thanks for listening, and remember, the disrespect is real. Goodbye.